A lot to break down here with border security and this funding issue, so let's bring in our good friend, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Sheriff, it's always great to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, so Sheriff, what are the odds that we're going to avoid a government shutdown by Friday? The president seems to want that, and he appears to be working overtime to avoid that shutdown. What do you say?
I think it's slim that we're going to avoid the government shutdown. Look, this is classic President Trump. He likes to keep the other side off balance. It's a head fake is what it is. He's done this before. Remember on the climate change, initially he said we're out of it. Later on, he said he's open to staying in, and we're out of it. He did the same thing on DACA. He invited, after the State of the Union, Schumer and Pelosi to the White House and said, get me a bill up here that includes amnesty for DACA recipients. I'll sign it and take the heat. They fell for that head fake. They brought him that bill, and he said, I'm not signing this. Get out of here. And I think that's what's happening here. They're trying to keep people off base, but they're also trying to figure out all their options. Keep in mind, John, that job one, the objective is build the wall, get some more funding. Some of the wall is already being built, but he needs more of it, and so he's going to need more funding. You always, when you're a negotiator, a skilled negotiator like the president, sure, you draw hard lines and stuff like that, but in the end, you want to achieve your objective, and that's to get that wall built. So I'm not alarmed like some people on the right who today, after hearing Sarah Huckabee Sanders say what she said, thinks that the president's caving. He's not going to cave on this. We're going to get that wall. It's kind of like sausage making, right? They say if you watch sausage being made, you probably wouldn't eat it. It's kind of like bill making. The same thing happens here.
Yeah, and look, I think most Americans, if they understood the mechanics, the true mechanics of a shutdown, how it's non-essential personnel, they really wouldn't care. Many might even support it. I think many Americans, if they analyzed the mechanics of a shutdown and the financials behind it, would say, why in the world is government so big and bloated anyway? We don't need 80% of this. Do you think, I should say, Sheriff, that if we do shut down, the president still wins politically?
Oh, sure he does. He's on the right side of the politics here. The polls are showing most Americans do not care about a government shutdown because that dog won't hunt anymore. They know what that means. The majority of the government stays open and is still funded. All essential operations continue to stay open and continue to be funded. So they're not afraid of that big bad wolf anymore. And that's why the president did what he did in the White House with Pelosi and Schumer. He said, I'm not afraid of a government shutdown. I'll own it. Don't think that he hasn't done his homework on that in terms of where the American people are on it. So he took that hard down stance in the White House in front of all of the media cameras. They all reported it live. We all saw it. Today, what are the leftist media reporting? That the government is that Trump, I should say, the president is softening his stance on the government shutdown. But trust me, he's going to win on this. I love watching him operate. I love watching him negotiate. He's a master at it. He's better at it than Schumer and Pelosi. He's going to win. We're going to get the wall. He'll find that $5 billion and probably more. That's what Sarah Huckabee Sanders said today. About $26 billion more in there for border security and finding a way to find the wall funding as well. Get the most that you can. He is not going to cave. We are going to get this wall built.
And Sheriff, the wall is only one step, right? I mean, security, I don't care what you're securing, whether it be the border, I don't care if you're securing your liquor store when you lock it up for the night or your vehicle. It's multi-layered. We need the wall, but we also need money for additional agents, right? Customs and Border Patrol agents, ICE agents, Homeland Security investigations people. They need better equipment. We need to put more boats in the Rio Grande, helicopters. Shouldn't we be asking for more than $5 billion? And do you think that that's the president's ultimate endgame, that he's very well aware we need all these additional layers, and he wants to turn the public sentiment tide toward funding that entire holistic solution?
Precisely. You're spot on about this. That's the $26 billion, I think, that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is talking about. The president made it clear in that meeting with Schumer and Pelosi last week, the wall is one part of border security, one part. He knows they need more. He's providing more. He will get them more. But in the end, here's what's going on with Pelosi and Schumer. They don't care about border security. I know what they say, but what they say, don't believe it. What they don't want to do is give the president a political win. And they know that if he gets this $5 billion and he continues to build a wall, because keep in mind, some of the walls already started. If he continues to do this, he wins a political victory. They are willing, they meaning Schumer and Pelosi, are willing to sacrifice the security of the United States to deny Trump a political win, and I think that's despicable.
It's incredibly despicable. That's a perfect word. All right, Sheriff, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the Trump administration banning bump stocks today. Now, the devices, which essentially turn a semi-automatic weapon into a fully automatic weapon with the use of gravity, really, will be banned by under ATF guidelines and a law, the National Firearms Act, that bans private citizens from owning machine guns, fully automatic weapons, unless they go through some hoops and hurdles and fill out certain forms with the ATF. Now, the ban was signed earlier today by Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, and it's going to go into effect in about 3 months. So over the next 90 days, people can either turn their bump stocks into the ATF or destroy them. Now, the devices were already illegal. The president has already determined that he was going to sign this order. Many states had deemed them illegal. They came under fire after the Las Vegas shooting, that tragic massacre where nearly 60 people were killed. I was actually having a debate with a very good friend of mine, a criminology professor. We're both big Second Amendment guys. He thinks this is going to hurt the president. I said, you know, just not enough people own bump stocks or know what they are to paint the president as anti-Second Amendment here. In fact, many gun owners, friends of mine who are vehemently pro-Second Amendment, say, you know what, if we've got to give back on anything, we can live with this. Politically, how do you think this affects the president, Sheriff?
I don't think it affects it at all. I think it shows his reasonableness. Here's another thing, a big point that people are leaving out. The NRA, the National Rifle Association, supports the president and supports the banning of this device. So, you know, gun owners kind of get it. This is a non-issue. It's not a big thing. The left made a big issue of it because they like to demonize things, you know, like the AR-15.
Right.
So they find objects and then they try to demonize them. I think that the president wins on this politically because the NRA, who backed the President Trump in his run for the presidency, the NRA has no problem with banning that device.
Yeah, I had one, and when my state deemed it illegal, I basically cut the thing in half, threw it in the garbage. It wasn't that expensive, but honestly, it burns up ammunition, wastes a lot of money, and really doesn't work all that well. I agree with you. I don't think true shooters and sports people are actually going to care about this one all that much. But Sheriff Clarke, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us.
John, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Sheriff. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more breaking news coverage, exclusive interviews, and great videos, click over here to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And don't forget to download the free Newsmax TV app. Newsmax TV. It's real news for real people.